Hello, everyone. I hope it's working now. So I almost didn't have this live talk because I thought it's Friday. So here we are. Salut. So who do we have here? Amalia Riganova says, hello, Meran. Leah here, female 50 from Slovakia. Hello, Leah. How are you, dear? Good of you to join us. Am I the only one here? She says. Well, I hope not. Maybe at one time you were, but here it is. Everyone is here. At least a bunch of us are here. And she says, I was about to go to sleep, but I stay for a while. All right. Oh, it must be, it's only 9 o'clock over there, 10 o'clock over there. You sleep so early. What's the matter? Sunny says, hello, Meran. Female 17, Italy. Como stai? Buongiorno o buonasera. Luna is here. Says, salam, dear Mehran. Salam, Luna Jan. Glad as always to tune in from UK this evening. Kefik al-yom. Tamam. What? No. Shukran, Tamam. And Mountain Goat says, hello. And Mountain Goat says, who is here? All right. Mountain Goat is male, 45 US. Thank you for that. Luna says female, 36 UK. Thank you for that. And Sunny says, I'm sorry, but this really doesn't have anything to do with breakup or OCD. I want to hear your thoughts on manifestations. I'm just curious what you think because you are so wise. I'm not so wise. I'm just wise to my own level. Even if that is so. That's even questionable. And manifestation of what? What do you mean? Elaborate on that, please, Sunny. And Sunny Mountain Goat says, trying to learn about breakups. How do we get past through that? How do we get past thoughts that haunt us? Well, it depends on what thoughts are haunting you. Probably you're thinking that because she left you, you're not good enough, and the one that she's with you is better than you, and that you will never find somebody like her. And these are some of the stuff. Is that what you mean? Well, remember, the key word is thought. You say, how do we get past thoughts that haunt us? Nothing is haunting you. Thoughts, you say, haunting you. Thoughts themselves don't have any actuality or existence. They are material process. They are conjured up ideas. Idea cannot hurt you. So this is just an intrusive reaction to the situation that the brain on its own, independent of you, unbeknown to you, is conjuring up. And that comes from the millions of years of anxiety-driven existence, which we are all lived as animals with lots of anxieties for safety and security and well-being. A sound of a click on the forest would make us be anxious about what it is about to eat us. What is it, dinosaur? What is it, some kind of a ferocious animal? Or is it from a bunch of people who live across the jungle coming here to kill me, get my chickens or my women, or what is it that I have to watch for? So that anxiety has been carried over into your genes since a million years ago to all of us. That's why we are all half crazy. We are still reacting to anxiety in anything that could possibly be against what we are, what we want to be, what we hope to be, what we like to be, including any topic that you can think of, whether it's about sexual inclinations that you're constantly trying to focus on, protect yourself. That's why the brain then goes and comes up with all kind of opposite of what you are and attacks you with that. But these are all thoughts, or from breakups and haunting you with ideas that you'll be alone, you'll never find somebody else, you'll never find something like her, and she was the best, and whoever she's with now is lucky, better than you, you're not good enough, and all that shit. So it's nonsense. It's thought. Thought itself doesn't have any existence, let alone trying to threat you. But because we have always, since childhood, been conditioned to look for authority, ever since we were born, something and somebody was authority. Mother, father, teacher, policeman, didn't do homework, got punished. And then you look for answers through authorities, again, mother, father, cheater, teacher, not cheater. Too early in the morning. Teacher and gurus and people that you follow, leaders, political leaders, spiritual leaders, all these you've been looking for authority, to follow authority. Therefore, you're conditioned to always get affirmation and direction from an authority. And hence, you accept the brain as authority, which is the most stupid source you can ever rely on, because brain is stupid. It just runs on data and runs on conjuring up thoughts that you've got nothing to do with them. And then sometimes you use the brain's ability to create thoughts and things that it's positive for you and needed for you to accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Make a conversation, design something, or learn something, or calculate something, figure out something. That's when you are using the apparatus, the tool, the equipment of the brain, its ability to do something for you, to do something with it. But most often, the brain itself is using its apparatus to do something with it. And that stuff that it does with it, it's got nothing to do with you. You're totally independent of. So it conjures up nonsense. And then because it is designed to protect you, it conjures up all the things that could be anxiety driven and rooted in anxiety, fear based, in order to make you alert and so on and so forth. But then when it goes rogue, it just goes all out and with no end to it, which you buy into it as you have bought into the brain to be the authority to follow. You have to understand that the brain is not the authority to believe, to follow, or to fall for its bullshit. You are the authority on the other hand. You own everything that works for you. Brain, kidneys, spleen, liver. These are all working for you, for your benefit. So you, in the case of brain, have the only power in this entity to choose, to allow what brain conjures up to turn into actuality, action, and reality or not. You're the only thing that can allow what you think is an authority, which is brain in this case, to have any existence in what ideas it suggests to come to any action or reality or actuality. You are the only one who permits and is in command and in control of anything to become an actuality, and any idea or thought to turn into action. Without you, without your judgment, without your command, nothing ever happens. I don't care how many million times the brain suggests that. There could be any intrusive suggestion of any kind, for breakup, for sexuality, for any kind of OCD, any substance of OCD, doesn't matter. You have to understand there is a separation between brain, thoughts, and you. And you are the selector. You are the judge. You are in command. You're the only entity in power that could allow any of the bullshit that the brain conjures up to become of any use or get any attention or turn into action or not, or be dissed and ignored and fall by the wayside and die. And you focus on what's important to you. You are the boss of it all. If you understand that, you're one step closer to the freedom of man, freedom of thought, and freedom from the nonsense of the brain, and don't be bamboozled by it ever. Okay. Now, Mariana is here, says, hello, Meran, female 28, Mexico. Hola. I hope your hand is better. Actually, thank you very much for asking. It hurts. It still hurts. I have a high threshold of pain, so I don't necessarily feel it much, but when I want to do with it, still weak, much better than before. I don't think anything is broken in these 8 little bones right at the wrist, because if it was, I wouldn't be able to do anything. I can do pretty much everything, but certain lifts are difficult for it. It hurts right here. So, hoping for it to be good again. And you know how we neglect being appreciative of the health that we have until something happens. And I've been kicking myself that how stupid was I not paying attention to, regardless of how proper or improper that flooring or that concrete work outside of a building was, I should have been able to see it. And I was trying to do something else instead of seeing what's in front. Anyhow, thank you for asking. I look forward for it to be good enough for me to go to the gym again and bike and all that. Right now, I don't know what's... All right, now we have Alan Hodges says, hey, Meran. Hello, Alan. And Alan, remind me where you're from, age and everything. And Alan says, hello, guys, greetings. Sunny Boy says, buonasera, buonasera. Sunny Boy says, okay, so recently I've been trying to manifest things I want into my reality. For example, I'm trying to manifest getting better at school and improving my mental health. I'm not too educated about it, but it has a lot to do with the law of attraction. I also feel like it is working. Well, good. Remember, law of attraction is not something like I pray and I hope that will happen. You got to put work into it. You can't be sitting and say, okay, I'm hungry and I'm going to be thinking hamburger, or spaghetti, lasagna, and then you should have it in front. That's not going to be manifesting. You got to get off your chair and go to store, buy the spaghetti, and then the tomatoes and everything as spices, and come home and put the effort and prepare and then make it. So it's intention, focus, and action. You cannot turn anything to anything without action. So intention, planning, elaborating, knowing, knowledge, intention, knowledge, and then action. And then you step forward towards manifestation of whatever it is that you want. You want to be good at school, you can't say, I want to be good at school, I want to be good at school, I want to be good at school, I want to be good at school. No, you'll get F because you wasted your time saying, I want to be good at school. Go open the book and then focus. Now, when you're studying, you should be able to understand why I'm studying, because that's going to change my life. That is going to help me manifest what I want. Good grades, better life, better job, ability to be accepted in a good university, or whatever it is that you plan on. So you focus, you translate that. Why I'm going to study? Why do I want to get good grades? Why do I want to understand this topic? Because it's going to translate to better opportunities for my life, which is what I'm aiming for. So you have a purpose, you have an understanding why. Then that brings more focus and attention and enjoyment, because you're not doing it for the grade, you're doing it for the benefit of the knowledge that you get from there, and to feel good about yourself and accomplishing something, and it has its resonation to the future. So you have a purpose, so you have a better attention. So you learn that if I want to be good at studying in school and all that, I got to be focused and attention to what I am reading and understand it, rather than just read it, see what happens. I'm there for a purpose of learning things. So your focus, you got to learn how to focus on what it is that you want to achieve. The law of attraction, basically, it's supposed to mean that you will be fully focused and attentive and paying attention to what needs to be successful, rather than just hoping that I'll do it just, just half-ass, and I hope that I'll get because I have a good intention, because law of attraction. All bullshit. You gotta put action and effort to the intention. Intention, knowledge, action. Intention, knowledge, plan, action, or any sequence that you want. So, for that focus, you need to meditate. You need to learn how to be able to unleash your attention and keep the attention there on what it is that you want to learn and accomplish. Whatever it is, if you're working, it's a job, something you're making, something you're cleaning, whatever it is, you got to pay full attention, so your mind with your body both would be at the same time and space, at the same place, and it's focused forward. Your mind is here, your body is here, your face is forward, your mind is forward. It's all focused on towards the same direction, the same thing, to learning this. So mentally I'm here, physically I'm looking at it, and mentally I'm here. Not that I'm looking at it, but my mind is somewhere else and all over the places. So you got to discipline the mind to be where you want it to be. So you meditate to teach the brain to be under your command and to be able to learn how to focus, rather than be dissipating all the places, going around here and there, because it doesn't know how to focus. Once you understand the power of focusing through meditation, mindful exercises, and that would be a power that you have to unleash to whatever it is that you want to learn. Mind is focused. I intend. Therefore, my intention and my focus and my efforts will attract whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve. Otherwise, there is really no law. Law is you, your attention, your intention, and your effort and your action. That's the law. You're in control. You can achieve anything you put your mind to it. You don't need woodoos and this and that. You can do it. You are equipped to do it. All you have to do is to train yourself and have your intention fully unleashed on whatever it is you want to achieve, and to understand why you want to achieve it, what it's going to do for your life, and then you're wholeheartedly in there with happiness to learn this, and then you benefit and reap the rewards as well. That's how you manifest things. Oops. So Alan says, greetings, Mehran. Good to see you're doing well. How the channel's been. I'm very excited to see this channel growing. Thank you very much for that, Alan. Appreciate that. Mountain Goat says, yes, thank you. I left her because she had borderline behavior, but I tried for a long time because I felt love. The thoughts are from the tough thought I could have made it work. Oh, I see. Well, maybe we can make many things work, but if it's not naturally working, it's too much work. Mountain Goat says, thank you for conceptualizing the nature of thoughts. This is very interesting. You're quite welcome. Mountain Goat says, this rogue part is what bothers me. I adhere to this brain bullshit more than I should, and I waste mental space. Be better used for productive use. Yeah, but it says productive use. Bother you are. It says Mountain Goat says, brother, you're a genius with your explanation. Okay, thank you. Look, Mountain Goat, understand that. What was I going to say? More than I should and waste mental space. This rogue part is what bothers me. Yeah, but you see, the thing is, if you understand the nature of brain, its mandate and its function and malfunction, and understand that the brain is actually operating on negative basis. It is designed to have propensity and gravity towards negativity. Its job. It's like a security officer that is always supposed to be suspicious to everything if he wants to protect whatever it is that he's supposed to be protecting. The brain is that. It's negative toward everything. That is why it's so easy to believe when you are being given the feeling of you're in danger. Because of the survival mode that we have, the survival instinct, and the most important thing for us is to survive, we will always believe the negativity, because that is our job, to believe negativity in order to protect ourselves, be alert, and survive. Without knowledge, without being aware of the dangers around us, we have a hard time to survive. And since survival is the prime directive, therefore anything that is negative is welcome. And is the brain like a sponge. Okay, guys, can you hear me now? How long have I been talking without knowing that you guys can't hear me? It took 5 pounds to bring my attention to know that this thing has malfunctioned. Can you guys hear me now? So how long how long was I talking? Like 10 minutes? Holy macaroni. All right. Okay. Well, well, I don't know. I don't know if I can repeat what I said. So, all right. Since mountain goat. Well, all right. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. Everything is the same as always been, but somehow it. I just switched the microphone to the default of the actual computer. So mountain goat, did you get your answer? How far did I go? I don't even know where I am now. 25 minutes. I've been talking for 25 minutes and no record of it. That's terrible. Unreliable. See, that's a low budget production. That's why unreliable. That's why I'm telling you guys, pour in the support. We can buy some new stuff. I'm going to use it for some sales pitch here. So now, where were we? Where were we? Ghetto says, Ghetto says, at least, Mr. Mayor, at least you can say we are very faithful to you because we are 17 of us here and don't hear one single word. I love you guys. Thank you very much for having faith. But that's funny. The whole thing was good and then just went off like this for no reason. My systems are good. and and Luna is paying more money. It's fixed now. Is it bad again? Oh, you had paid that before and I didn't even see that. Okay, that's my new trick now. I put the sound off. Then when you guys can't hear me, you will send money and I will ignore it till you sell more money. Then I say, okay, that's a good deal. Well, sorry about not having seen the first one, Luna. You could have gotten away with 199 and then you ended up paying 5 pounds to bring you my attention. That means my attention is quite expensive nowadays. Very good, very good. I'm delighted to hear that. So, okay, let me go back to where the heck I was. Okay, all right. All right. Okay, let's just start over again. Let's give me questions from now. I don't know where the hell I was. The problem is I don't want to repeat everything I said. So, redo the question that I was explaining. Just put that question in, whatever it is, then I'll start from that. Yes, Luna John. Yes, Got to get ends meet. I mean, if there is no support, I would have to become like, gee. And I was so passionate in my speaking, and I had no audience. All right, that's all right. That at least does some neuroplasticity for myself. All right, so we have Beat Wolf. Aman, I have already explained, or maybe that was before that, huh? Wolf says, this was the question. Says, Mountain Goat said, this rogue part is what bothers me. I adhere to the brain bullshit more than I should and waste mental space. Better use for productive use. The problem with me, guys, is that I don't have a scenario. So what I say, it's off the cuff. Like, I feel what is the answer and then I elaborate on it. But I can't remember what exactly I said. So what I say may be continuous and may not be the same as I said before. But since you guys didn't hear the last one, I guess I can say whatever I want to say. You guys can know the difference, right? My new answer will be, so before we go there, it says, Carpe Diem says, with generous $5, says, when will we have a Zoom chat, dear Meran? Carpe Diem, I'm always ready, but we didn't have any registration. Nobody during the past week send me any registration through the PayPal, which I gave my email, because we don't have a button on the site yet. And that will be a few months from now, because my programmer is very busy, and he's also from UK, and he's a very nice guy, very, very nice guy, talented, intelligent, and knowledgeable. But he's very busy, and he has told me, and I said, no problems. I'll wait until he gets time, and that will be a few months from now. So until we have that button and that feature on the site, we will deal with it as it is here. Either we go through super chats that people can register via super chat, and or they can go to PayPal and send money to my email, which I put the email there last time, and then whichever money comes in, which says in the note for a Zoom meeting, then I will send a link to that person. And that's how we will have 10 people. We can only have 10 people. I mean, I only want to have 10 people for the Zoom, not more. So we can have at least 2 hours session for these 10 people. And the fee is $25 for the ones who are member here. Like Luna, Carpe Diem, these are all members. Stephen, these are all members. So for them, it's half price, $25. For the ones who are not member, it's $50 that they can join, be part of those 10 people for 2 hours on Zoom. We can converse on the topics that are important to you. And that would be especially for those 10 people and what they want to talk about. But we haven't had any registration, Carpe Diem. So let me get back to trying to reconstruct what I was trying to say. And I have a button in front of me that I will just turn the sound off so you guys can't hear me. And then I'll have more money coming in to notify me. Now, Wolf says, okay, Mountain Goat says, rogue part. So that means you guys did hear the rogue part, that the brain can go rogue, right? So the rogue part is what bothers me. Yeah, you see, you say the rogue part bothers you, but it's like saying, I know this is wrong, but I want to follow it. It doesn't make sense, does it? When you know that the brain can go rogue, or maybe you don't know. Okay, let's discuss that. Look, guys, did we talk about the brain's authority, like a brain being the authority since childhood? We've been conditioned to think that brain, that we follow certain authority, our parents, teachers, and all that. Say yes or no, because I want to know if I have already given you that basis. Did we hear the part that I was talking about? We are accustomed to follow an authority, a leader, and so on, and then therefore we are conditioned to think that the brain is also the authority rather than we being the authority. Did you guys hear that discussion? Okay, so you did hear that. All right, good. All right, look, we were talking about understanding the fact that brain creating intrusive thoughts is not an anomaly about you. Intrusive thoughts are part of the normal thing that is going on with every brain on this earth. There is not a one person on this earth that can say that I've never had intrusive thoughts. We all have it, everywhere and anything. The difference is that we have a system that is automatically shutting down the intrusive thoughts based on understanding what this person is all about. You have a gatekeeper, you have a value system, you have a inner understanding of what your values are and what's meaningful to you and what's meaningless to you. Based on that core principle, which certainly many of them are genetics and many of them are how you condition yourself and you've chosen this certain kind of a value for yourself, whether it's your faith, whether it's your uh, uh, understanding of what you want in life, how you want to conduct yourself, what mannerism, what you adhere to, and then certainly knowing about, clearly knowing what gender you are, what your inclination is, and what you love to be, and all of that is clear for you. These are part of your values. And you and your inner system, inner wisdom, your gatekeeper, your wise advocate, is aware of who you are, what you are genetically, in your gender, in your behavior, in your preferences, in your inclinations, in your moralities, in your faith, in whatever it is that you put as part of your values. It is known to your system. And because of that is known and clear to your inner wisdom and what makes you function the way you function, when an intrusive thought of any kind shows up, your automatic system gauges that against your values and what you have protected and created as the core and the foundation of your existence and being and how you operate. And then it decides which intrusive thoughts, which naturally the intrusive ones, are going to be ignored. How? By the system that it has automatically shuts down the intrusive thoughts just a couple of seconds after you notice them. For example, a thought comes to your head that you want to push someone over that platform in the subway. Just comes to your head that you want to push them, that someone is standing by the place that where the train comes, and you just feel like, oh, I'm going to push it. But you never do. But that's the intrusive thought. Or you have a certain gender and a thought shows up that you're not that gender, you're opposite of that gender. Like you're a heterosexual, you love women, and a thought shows up that you're homosexual and that you like same gender, or encourages you or suggests to you with images or thoughts that you want to kiss or have sexual inclination or activities with the same gender, which you're totally not interested in that. And because your system knows it, even though intrusive thought has shown up, the automatic system, which is part of the striatum in the midbrain, namely caudate nucleus, it's responsible to shut down intrusive thoughts. And that is when you notice an intrusive thought showed up in your mind and you say, oh, what's that? And then caudate nucleus shuts it down and you go about your business, because that's how it works. Sometimes there is a malfunction in the brain that system doesn't work as it always did. Because it doesn't automatically get rid of these debris or statics, intrusive thoughts, the thought lingers, gets a moment to establish itself and roam around the brain, enough to create an anxiety in you. So what the hell is this? Why is it not going away? And because it doesn't go away, and you are conditioned to think that these things should naturally disappear, because you have been conditioned to rely on the system. So when it goes malfunction and rogue, you can't expect it that it could ever go rogue or malfunction, because you have been accepting the brain as an authority. Since childhood, you have been learning what authority is, that for affirmation and seeing what's right or what's not right, you got to follow someone. You got to follow something, some center, some authority, some leader, some guru. And you have accepted the brain to be your authority because you're conditioned to always have to have an authority. And because the brain has always been responsible for you to use it to do constructive things for you, because it's one of its jobs is to be a tool for you to get things done, whether it's your studies or learning or producing your job or whatever it is, you have, and it does math and you think it's wise and smart, you have somehow accepted that the brain is above and beyond your understanding. So you have accepted the brain to be an authority that you follow and you look up to, you get your cues from. So when this authority malfunctions, you don't focus on the fact that there's a possibility for the brain, this authority that I've accepted, wrongfully so, is malfunctioning. So you constantly follow whatever the garbage it's spitting out. And what's this spitting out is based on trying to protect you, but then these intrusive thoughts, when they have already given you the alarm and you have already received it, so what is that? But then it has done its job and it disappears. It doesn't disappear when there's a malfunction. When it doesn't disappear, you think because there is a meaning to it and purposely it's not disappearing. And for that reason, you believe what's lingering as fact, as possible deviation from what you've always been, or as something that you should follow, instead of thinking that, hey, this thing that I've always been counting on being working properly is malfunctioning. That part is the part that puts you in jeopardy, because you don't focus on the brain having gone rogue. You are focusing on the brain, no matter what it does, it's correct because it's always been there according to what you want it to function, considering all your values and your wise advocate and gatekeeper and your whatever it is that makes you to be who you are, including your faith and your inclination, your sexual inclination, everything is known to it, it's always functioned properly. You have lost the sight that this is a mechanical machine and it can malfunction. Therefore, when it suggests something to you, you actually believe even when it's going rogue, because you don't give consideration that this has gone rogue. I'm not supposed to follow it. I'm not supposed to take it seriously. So if you understand that there is a separation between brain, thoughts, and you, if you understand that you are the one who is totally in control of choices, like the fact that you have wrongfully so accepted the brain to be an authority, you got to reverse that the brain is not an authority. I am the authority. The me who brain is installed on it as an apparatus, as a tool that was added to me 40,000 years ago. My brain was only up to my stem, and stem was only instinctive living like an animal. That's why I had no problems. Everything was hardwired. Now I have to understand that this brain has been added to me, its sophistication, since 40,000 years ago. But there was a me before the brain was added to me. So I am the authority. I'm the owner of this real estate. Me, the entity. All these other things are added to me. So they cannot be an authority. I am the authority. When you understand that, then you understand there's a separation between brain, you, and what brain creates, which is thought. Brain is a thought manufacturing plant. And any plant, especially being electronic, malfunctions. When you understand this, and you understand that it cannot be your guru, it cannot be your authority, and the fact that you have the choice and you're the only person that can ever allow anything that the brain conjures up become an action, an actuality or not. The brain cannot turn anything that it suggests into action, ever. Brain is just a bunch of neurons that gives ideas, and ideas can never become an action unless you turn something, some idea, some thought, into action. And since you are not crazy, you look after your best interest. You're supposed to know that you're the selector, you're the top dog, you're the judge. You will not allow things that are contrary to your values to become any actuality, to turn into action. That's why when the brain intrusive thought suggests that you want to push that person off the subway path into the train when it's oncoming train, you will refuse it. You will hear all these intrusive thoughts, but you will never act on it. When it suggests that you will harm that child as a pedophilia, it's an intrusive thought, but you will not allow it because you have gatekeeper, you have core values, you have principles, you have wisdom. You are the awareness, and you judge and gauge these suggestions and thoughts that the brain manufactures against your values and core beliefs and systems. Wise advocate, your gatekeeper, where your values are being kept. And when you compare them, you come to conclusions, definitely not what this intrusive thought suggests. I will not. Why? Because you're in the control. You're the only one that is in control here, not the suggestions. Suggestions don't have existence. They're just neurons. They're just ideas. They're just things that this brain conjures up in order to alert you from any possible danger that could be contrary to your lifestyle, to your preferences, to your values, and it attacks you with that to keeps you alert. But that's the end of it, and the system's supposed to shut down that intrusive thoughts after you have been poised to be aware of it, so you won't let it happen. And these suggestions could be of any sort: religious OCD, harm OCD, responsibility OCD, pedophilia OCD, homosexual OCD, any kind of an OCD that is there is part of the intrusive thoughts. I mean, you are born the way you've been born, whether you're born this gender or that gender. That's your life, and you're going to enjoy and live in peace and accomplish your task, what you're here to accomplish and learn in this journey of life. But the intrusive thought is going to attack you with the opposite of what you are. And you're supposed to be aware that this is an attack. But I am in charge not to allow attacks to take place. So if it suggests something that is contrary to your interest, you're in control. You have a choice. You don't have to be bamboozled or frightened. Oh, there's such an intrusive thought came to my mind. So it did. Brain is a thought manufacturing machine. So it makes thoughts. Let it be. You have choices. It's like you go into the bazaar and you're not going to buy anything that is offered to you. Oh, buy this. Okay, I'll buy it. Or buy that. Okay, I'll buy it. No, you buy this because you want to go to the well and fix the well and buy this rope. Well, you're going to check. Is this rope got strong fibers? Or am I going to go in there and it tears apart and I fall in there? So you make choices based on your knowledge, based on your preferences, based on your agenda, based on what it is acceptable to you, based on your values, based on what you want to do with these products. You're not going to go to bazaar and buy anything that is offered to you. Any business that is offered to you, you got to see if it's meaningful, if it's appropriate to your beliefs, to your values. Same thing with thoughts. It suggests products, suggests ideas, images, thoughts, and most of them are intrusive. So you, having the choice and being the wise, being the one who monitors all these activities of all these equipments that has been added to your entity, you decide what is relevant, what is meaningless. And when you choose and dub them, these intrusive thoughts of all kinds of them, because they are showing up all kinds of ways for all people in the world, everybody on this earth has intrusive thoughts. But when their system works and doesn't malfunction, when it shows up, you say, what is that? And then it shuts it down and you go about your business. When you understand that you're in power for that, then when these intrusive thoughts shows up, you never allow any of them to become into reality and action because you have the power for that. The brain can suggest intrusive thoughts, but you have the power to let it or not let it to take any shape or be any part of your life. So whether it's about harm OCD, whether pedophilia OCD, whether it's homosexual OCD, any kind of OCD, you have the choice. You are the wisdom to diss it, ignore it, or think certain thought is of any use to you. Knowing that, then you would rest assured that intrusive thoughts showing up don't mean anything. They can show up because you are the one who holds the key. You are the entity who is alive, has actuality. Thoughts don't have actuality. You're the only one that can allow a thought to become an action. And until you allow any thought, suggestion, or image become an action, it has no existence. It has no existence. It can never trouble you. Whether it's about thinking about a breakup, that the girl that left you is now with somebody else, is now better than you, that person, because she's chosen him, or it's because you thought you're not good enough. These are all intrusive thoughts. You have a choice not to accept them. Whether the intrusive thought is something about, harming anybody or doing something inappropriate, or thoughts of not being the gender that you are, you've always been, you love to be, and you want to be, that's your choice. The thoughts of you not being that, intrusive thoughts, automatically supposed to be shut down and go away by caudate nucleus's work. If it doesn't, you show it by your choices. Manually, you behave in a certain way, which is ignoring these intrusive thoughts because your wisdom, your alertness, your awareness tells you this is not in line with your values. Therefore, you diss it, you ignore it, you focus on what it is that you want to go, no matter how persistent these intrusive thoughts or how they make you feel or whatever effect they have, you stay focused on your prime directive, on your values. And with that focus, you continue your life the way that you choose, you have always done, and you prefer it to be, and you want it to be, you like it to be, rather than what the brain suggests and you go on about your business, and these things automatically fall by the wayside. That's how you deal with the rogue brain. I hope I came to answer that question. Maybe I don't even know if how it compared with the one before. Don't tell me you didn't hear me anymore. I'm not going to repeat that anymore. I'm going to dream of this. All right. Oli Dan says hi from Wales. Hello there. Let's see, where was I? Who have I ignored here? And Wolfbeat says, then my question. I have a question. It's Wolf from Spain. What is your story? My story. And how did you handle it? Was it so easy before when you were young to handle breakups? No. Breakups are never easy. I was no different than you guys. But somehow I went through the pain of it, but I didn't let it interfere with my life. Like I always had this notion that I got to attend to my duties and responsibilities regardless of how terrible I feel about this breakup or whatever it was. You know, remember the story? I don't know how many of you heard this one. There was a big breakup that I had. And a big breakup, I mean not what is it in content, but I mean it was a breakup that was at that age. It affected me quite a bit, and I was in the army at the time. And I think I've said this story to some of you before, but so you asked. I had my share of sadness in the breakup, but I never let it bring me down to the level of making me malfunction in my things. Yeah, maybe I didn't want to do the stuff that I used to do as much or as good as I used to do. It hindered my style and hindered my mood. But I always focused that these are not something that could come ahead of what my duties are, what I'm here to do. I was sent to university in States when I was almost 18, not quite 18. So my dad sent me to university there. And so I knew I was there to accomplish something. So even though I would have a relationship breakup, I would still know the prime directive should not be forgotten, which is for me to handle my life, to attend to my whatever it is, homeworks that I have to do for the class. So as hard as it was, I still focused on what needed to be done. Mind you, in university, I did have a couple of breakups that none of them are fun, but I got over them. Like I went through it. I remember once I was in love with this girl and she loved me, and then I went to summertime. I went back home from university, and then she then had an opportunity to be with someone that she knew before. So that was a hindrance to me. I really didn't think that would happen. Everything was fine. I just left for summer vacation. And then, so as bad as I felt, but I still focused on the things that I had to do, which was training in equestrian and the show jumping all summer, even though that was in my head that, I don't have her, that we broke up. But at the same time, I was fully focused on what had to be done, and I won a championship, regardless of what was happening. So I never allowed, I felt the pain and I dealt with the breakup, but I never allowed it to get beyond what it was. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And another instant was the biggest disappointment at the time was when I was actually in a serious relationship with my girlfriend, a different girlfriend, and then I graduated and I went to my home country, and then I was in the military, and then the idea I had already gone and seen her in her country, and we were engaged and all that, and then I was in the military, and then she broke up with me, and that was something that was never saw it coming because because she was so head over heels in love with me, and I sure as hell as what I was too. I used to get letters every day for a couple of years. Every single day I had letters from her. So that's how close we were. But then I'm in the army now, and this is happening. So what do? I was really, really feeling shitty. I remember, as I told you guys before, one night we were in night training with guns and all that, and we were supposed to take over a hill, and it was a training, and I was in a foxhole. My buddies were in different foxhole, and they could hear me. At least I thought they could hear me. I wasn't crying hard, but I was crying. Or I was really in bad mood. It felt in me that I was crying, maybe, but maybe I wasn't. But my buddies could feel, because I could hear them say, "Oh, Meron is in a real shitty space, shitty place. He's feeling awful." So I could hear them. That means they knew what I'm going through in that foxhole. But I went and got the hill anyhow. So what I'm trying to say is, as bad as it can be, I never allowed it to interfere with my duties and what things that were important at the time. I kept them separate. I take the pain, but I go full force and attentive to what it needs to be done. If you can do that, then you've done it okay. You're feeling the pain, and you're also not allowing it to interfere with whatever else you're supposed to be building and accomplishing. That's okay. But when you allow the breakup actually turn into a life or a devastation of totality of your life, that's the problem. And it should never be, because no one breakup or any relationship can be equal to the worth of your life and what you're here to experience and accomplish. It cannot be. At that very moment, that's the most important thing in your life as far as relationships are concerned. But that's only in that time and space. Things always change, things always move, and you cannot expect something that is not working actually overtake everything else in your life that is working. You're supposed to be constantly alongside on the caravan that is moving, rather than thinking the one that doesn't move can actually hinder the movement of the other. No, the moving one is the one that you focus on. So the rest of the stuff in your life that is working and you're in control, that is positive, that you can accomplish them, that's the one you focus, regardless of how painful and what kind of a hardship you're facing with as far as these relationships and so on is concerned. All right, that's my story, at least part of it. Wolfbeat. Mountain Goat says, Meron, neuroplasticity at its finest. I talk so much, I don't know which part of it you mean. So, Wolfie says another question, why is it so difficult to apply the theory to the reality? Well, which theory to which reality? Because it's not always the case. It depends on what you believe. If you live life based on beliefs, then you don't need any evidence to evaluate the belief, and you will blindfoldly accept that what it is that has become a belief. It's no different than HOCD. You guys believe HOCD, which is a thought malfunction in the brain that suggests something. You believe that it's correct when you have all the evidence of the past, your life, your childhood, your interaction with girls, that you've always been interested in them, and all the other things that you're doing, somehow you disregard all of them. And you believe a suggestion, a thought by your brain with no evidence. And you disregard all the evidence and you believe something that has no evidence, only is suggested, but you fall for the suggestion because you have believed in the authority or the source that the suggestion is being made out of, with no reason to believe in that authority, because you've been conditioned to believe it. But if you ever question, what am I believing from where? What is the source of this belief? Is the source my past? Is the source my preferences? Is the source my choices? Is the source how I've lived? What I love to live as? What I am interested in? No, none of that is the source. The source is some brain neurons suggesting that you're not the gender you are. What the fuck? And you believe that with no background, and you forget all the actuality of your life based on this fucking idiot that supposedly is suggesting and bringing images, and you believe the images that is based on anxiety and malfunction and overprotectiveness of what you actually love to be is actually true. You fall for that. You don't question authority, and you've been conditioned to think the brain is authority. That's why when it suggests shit, you believe it. And for belief, you need no evidence. How many of you believe in something that you've never actually asked for evidence? How many of you? There are lots of things that in this world you believe in and you have never even seen an evidence for it. Yeah? And when it becomes a belief, that becomes danger. By the way, can you guys hear me? Can somebody tell me, can you guys hear me? Somebody say, can you guys hear me? Anyone? Can anyone hear me? Ah, okay. So, where was I? What was the question? Okay. So, if you focus on the fact that you're following an authority because you're conditioned to follow authority, and that you're not supposed to take the brain as the leader of yours, and understand the separation between the two, you'll be fine. But as long as you don't do that, then you're following something with no evidence that it is higher than you. If it was higher than you, then you would be part of the brain, not the brain having been added to your entity. Brain is a tool. That's all it is. You're the wisdom. You're the awareness. You're the selector. All right, let's go and see, where are we here? Fariha Mustafa says, hi Miran, my name is Fariha. I'm 20 and from South Africa. And what is your gender, dear? I apologize, I don't know exactly if the names that I hear are representing the same gender as I would think this name would apply to, but so that's why I need to ask that question. And Fariha says, I wanted to inquire, how long does it take the brain to rewire itself, or does it depend on your own brain? No, it depends on the focus and attentiveness and repetition. It's like asking me, how long does it take for me to become a real good pianist? Well, it depends how much you really focus on what you're practicing and how often you practice it. The more you practice, the more neurons will connect and let the neurotransmitters that would make you really good at playing piano pass through the bridges that they create between the two ends of the synaptic neurons. So the more you practice, the better you become. So if you continuously repeat what you are doing, then you become really good and neuroplasticity takes place. And that is why I'm adamant to encourage everyone who's going through some kind of a mental glitch, whatever it is, OCD or subsets of OCD, to start learning about this, the reaction and the interaction and the connection and the relationship between brain, thoughts, and you, and all the rest of it, which I have it in the playlist, Intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos, that talks about understanding the separation between brain, thoughts, and you, and many good information alongside with the links of scientists and neuroscientists and psychologists, psychotherapists such as Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Owens. Many of these experts and psychotherapists and scientists, you have the links of them underneath many of my videos, if not most of or all of my videos in those playlists, which you can see their explanations about these things in a scientific way, where my discussions are more towards how the masters of hundreds of years ago have understood and explained the connection of thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, how thought is born and how it is lodged and becomes part of the consciousness and the relationship between the two, and so on and so forth. I've used many of my research and hours of understanding the scientists' works and learn them and try to use them in conjunction with my experiences and my pondering and the research I've done on the works of the masters in hundreds of years ago, and combine them and bring them to you in combination of the two. But you have the choices on these playlists and on those links of those experts in the psychotherapy, science, and neurosciences, and so on. So you can learn about it. So the sooner you learn about this whole fragments of your psyche and how your psyche is put together, the sooner you stop the neuroplasticity and rewiring of the bullshit. Because if you constantly believe in the garbage that the brain is putting out in relation to intrusive thoughts of all kinds, then you become really good at believing it. And that's going to be a little bit more difficult to get rid of later on. That's why it is very important for you right off the bat, when you feel these sort of intrusive thoughts, that you can simply say they're intrusive because they make me uncomfortable. The problem is that you guys linger so much that, oh, it suggests that I am this or I'm not that, and I'm this, but I've always been that, but it says I'm not. And then all of that questioning means that there's some shitty things are happening in your brain. You're not supposed to believe something, but you keep believing the garbage, which is totally against your values and how you've always lived, and believing that a thought can actually change you. This is why it's very important for you to educate yourself to understand that when the brain malfunctions, your thoughts about believing the malfunction is also based on the malfunction brain. It's not your judgment. You have to understand, where are you in this whole equation of trouble that is happening. And for that, I have a video on that playlist that I explained. And when you understand that you're outside of the brain, You're not part of the brain. Brain is an apparatus for you, not you part of the brain, brain being the leader. You are the leader. When you understand this separation, then you're always in command, and whatever garbage shows up, you will feel it, you will know it, you're aware of it because you're the wise. You're the awareness. If you focus on the video that I've made based on quantum physics experiment they did in a laboratory and how I applied it to your brain and understanding how it is apparent that you are totally separate from the brain, but you can use the brain, but also brain can use itself. And that's why you get bamboozled thinking that what I use the brain to create thoughts and get things done, you think is the same as what the brain uses its own abilities to make thoughts. You mix them up. Therefore, you don't understand that the brain is a tool. You think brain is wisdom. Brain is a tool, is an equipment, is an apparatus. You're the awareness. And I've shown it in one of the videos. I don't know. You can let me see. Let me get that video for you. I gotta do everything. Damn it. Well, the best thing is just simply go to the playlist and you have everything there. Otherwise, it'll be like another 10 minutes for me to find it for you. And let's see if Free has answered. Friha did not respond to my question as far as her gender. Well, I answered the question anyhow. And Gatto says yes was the last part of part A. Okay. Steven says, I got her into drinking different types of beers. Steven, are you starting from the beginning or am I missing something? No, I guess that's it. So it says, I got her into drinking different types of beer. A while back, she showed me one that we should try together. I went out to buy them because they are now discontinued after I sensed her pulling away. I ended up drinking all of them by myself. Lol. Except I saved one for her. Before leaving work yesterday, I wrapped it up nicely and gave it to her. She appeared happy, but I know I should hold back a little. It just felt right and I wanted to do it. Okay then. Aman says, you said that if I change my behavior, I'll get back as I used to be. But when I try to change my behavior, I feel like I am forcing myself, even though I didn't force it, but still when I try. That's a thought. That's an intrusive thought still getting a hold of you. So you should ignore, just do what you want to. Remember, choice. It doesn't matter what brain suggests or comments on your behavior or your intention. It matters what is your choice. Stick with it. You don't want to eat that chicken. It doesn't matter how many times the brain shows up, says, eat that chicken, you like that chicken, eat that chicken, you like that chicken. You say, my choice is I do not. A weak brain falls into believing suggestions. The strong brain, who has been trained by meditation and understanding. Repetition of the meditation brings focus and brings unity between you, the energy that you have, and the energy that runs through you, and the energy of the nature. And you become part of the energy. And that energy is so powerful that will help you to stay your ground. So you can't simply think that because the idea of eat that chicken, you like the chicken. So I don't care how many times you show up. I choose not to eat the chicken. Simple. So how many times it shows up that you are this gender or that gender, you're not this gender, you're not what you've been, say, fuck you. I choose to be an eagle. I am the eagle. I am tiger. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying, trying to say that I choose what I am, what I've been, what I like to be. If you've been born as a heterosexual, you love to be heterosexual, you like to be heterosexual, you've always acted and functioned as heterosexual, you enjoy that, that's your preference, that's your choice, then it doesn't matter how many people pass by and call you something that you're not, or encourage you or suggest to you, hey, come, I want to do something. So you just say, fuck off. My choice is different. Whether it's your other people or the brain, you react the same way. You have choice, not suggestions opens and creates your pathway. You do, your choice does. And that comes from your inner values. Look, my inner value would say, I never rob a bank. Then I don't care how many times, how many people, how many glorifying stories, how many thoughts of such action could show up. I stand my ground, my values, my belief, my choice. I shall not rob a bank. My choice. I don't care how you want to justify it, how you want to tantalize it, the money, the this and that, the girls, the houses, the cars you can buy with. I don't, strong mind stays on its values. You gotta have a center core principles. What I am, what I want to be, what my choice is, what I love to be, how I want to act and present myself in the society, what kind of job I want to have, what kind of education I want to have, what are my values. You create all that. If you want to have a faith, what's my faith? Whatever it is, you create all that. That's your gatekeeper. That's your wise advocate. Dr. Schwartz says wise advocate. Dr. Phillipson says gatekeeper. I say superconsciousness. Whatever, it all means the same. Your values, your core principles, where you hold your values safe and sacred. That includes your sexuality, that includes whatever it is that you want to be in this life. And you stay on course. Doesn't matter how many people, doesn't matter how many television programs talk about the lifestyles that you are not interested in. Doesn't matter how the media make a certain kind of a lifestyle to be an in thing or something you should try. Who are they to suggest these things? Who died and left them in charge to be the morality or making suggestions for your lifestyle? You are the only one. Whatever you prefer your lifestyle is, that's what you stick with. Not the brain, not other people, not the media, not other people's lifestyles, nothing on advertisements or the billboards should be able to replace your power of choice. All right. And your values. Your choices come from your values. All right. Let's see what we have here. All right, we have I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with the systems today because I also somehow lost all the settings I had for the audio. Yeah, it doesn't recognize doesn't recognize doesn't recognize Scarlett, which is my microphone. I don't know why. So where were we? By the way, what's happened today? Again, a week gone, and we have only 15 people here. Last week was quite a bit more. Aman says, oh, okay, we talked about that. All right. Aman says, I'm feeling lonely because I can't talk to people anymore whom with I always used to talk with, because my emotions and behavior change, which they won't like, and honestly, I'm also not enjoying it. But when I try to change my behavior, I felt like I'm forcing myself to be something. No. That's the thought is making you forcing yourself. Because remember, you don't change. You're born as a certain gender, you are that gender the rest of your life. As I said before, you're not cow's milk. Today you're milk, a few days later you're buttermilk, then later you become yogurt, and the temperature and time passes and eventually become cheese. It doesn't work that way. Your gender is chromosomes. It's done in the womb of your mother. It's created the way it has, whatever gender it is. You're born homosexual, you're homosexual, rest of your life. You're born heterosexual, you're heterosexual, rest of your life. Doesn't matter what thought shows up. As I mentioned before, thought wasn't there, even wasn't created when you were being put together in the wombs of your mother. Everything, your heart, everything else, your gender, your genitalia was being created. There was no thought to be having any part of your creation. And therefore, there is no thought could ever have anything to do with any threat in modifying or changing you in any shape or form whatsoever. The rest is just about understanding the mechanism of the brain and its malfunctions and the intrusive thoughts and so on and so forth. Scientifically is proven. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're not thoughts. Thought is not you. Understand that. Don't keep repeating the bullshit that is coming to your head as if it's, oh, it's the brain says it, so I must be. Really? So brain says it, where is it going to stop? Jump in front of the truck? Brain says it. You must do, huh? What stops you from doing that? So there is something more than the brain when it goes rogue and suggests to you to jump over the cliff and something stops you. That something, the awareness is you, not the one that says jump over the cliff. That's something that says that you are not the gender that the brain is trying to motivate you and suggest to you. That's something that awares you and tells you that you are not what the brain is suggesting to you. That's you, not what the brain suggests. You got to understand that there's something that is watching the brain's behavior that suggests to you that this is not you. That's why there's a conflict. If that was you, there would be no conflict. You wouldn't say, what is this? It's in conflict of what I know I am, what I want to be, what I have been. That conflict, contradiction, brings awareness, and that awareness that says this is different, this is not me, that's not been me, that's uncomfortable. That awareness is you, not the thing that is suggesting to be different and have created the conflict, contradiction. You are aware of the contradiction. That's you. The one that suggests a contradiction and wants you to think that you are not what you've always been, that's not you. Gotta understand that. Mountain Goat says, brain, thoughts, you, Mehran, you're such a brilliant teacher. Thank you. It's simple, really, honestly. Honestly. Oil Dan says, can I ask a question? Yes, of course. Matthew Hutter says, you're the man, Mehran. Your words of insight and wisdom have helped me greatly. Delighted to hear that, Matthew. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. And Rose, there's a little Rose. Okay. Mountain Goat says, Rose, hello, okay. And Mid CD says, hi, CD22 female India. Hello, CD. And so something is really troubling me today. Jasmine says, hola, 33 female Spain. Hola. Says, my ex-fiance was my first boyfriend. He put on a mask since beginning, but of relationship to impress me. Is it normal to put on a mask? As time passed by, I kept catching his lies. I remembered everything he said. He didn't remember he lied to me. And I would catch that, and we kept fighting, and he got angry and angrier every time he got caught. He said he did this because he didn't want to disappoint me. Why am I keep blaming myself for turning a sweet man he was in the beginning to this monster? Did me catching his lies tick him off? Why do you blame yourself? The guy did the lying. Why you want to take the blame for his lying? Are you nuts? Because you want something from him. That's why you don't have the guts to admit that he's been lying. What is it that you want? You want attention. You want that image that I have a fiancé, that somebody loves me. And you're willing to pay for that love, for that attention. How? By compromising your standards. By putting up with how he wants to look like in your mind rather than how his actuality is that you should pay attention to. You are willing to let go of his actuality and how you see him and believe in the image that he wants you to have of him in your mind. And that's simply not going to work. You will always know. Your awareness knows that you're simply pulling the wool over your own eyes. So, he lied, you caught him, and he's supposed to say, yes, dear, you're right. I lied because I really didn't want to miss you. I didn't know if I'm good enough. I didn't think if you like what I would have told you the truth. But the fact is, dear, I'm not lying anymore. And you ask me any question, and I find it reasonable, I answer it. And I'm not doing that anymore. Now, if he did at the beginning, okay, But did he continue the lies and deception and all that? Then that's a problem. At the beginning, he did okay. He didn't know you. You were not entitled to know everything about him just because you asked. Why should you be? You just entered in his life, so he wanted to keep things maybe secret. Maybe you should have just said, "I don't think it's time for us to discuss these things," rather than lying. Or if he did, he did. You weren't entitled to it. But did he continue after the first while passed by? That's the problem. So you're not supposed to simply say, okay, maybe I shouldn't have caught his lies because then it would be okay. Why? Because you want something from it. You want the attention. If you let go that attention-seeking goal, then you'd be able to face and see the actuality of the person, and you will see if that person is qualified, meets your standards to be loved by you, or take your attention, deserve your attention or not. Otherwise, you'll be focusing on what you are going to get, what you want to get, what makes you feel good. And for that, getting that, you will pay the price of not really paying attention to the actual quality of the person. It's like having a fake, I don't know, some kind of a, I know everybody has fake jewelry these days. I don't want to say that. It's like because you want to have the enjoyment of something that makes you feel more valuable, you're just going to pretend. Anybody who asks, oh, what a beautiful earring, or what a beautiful ring or bracelet or whatever, is that real? And it's not real, but you say, yes, it is. Or is that a real Rolex? Yes, it is, but it's not. So the idea is that if you like a imitation jewelry, it's fashion, it's perfectly normal. What is it? Oh, so what? You wear it. But if somebody asks you, is that real? Then you say, no, it's not. Not that, oh, yes, it is. It's actually, I bought it from Cartier, and it's actually, 2 carats diamond, and bullshit. Then you're getting in trouble. You wear what you want to wear, you act what you want to wear, but if somebody says, okay, you speak French, say, yes, I do. They say, well, let's go, because my friend is French, maybe you can translate. And you don't know French, you say, oh, yes, let's go. And then you go and try to go through it, bullshit. When they ask you, do you speak French? You say, no, I sounded like it. That's it. Otherwise, you get into more and more trouble. Anyhow, so you can create an image for yourself, but if somebody asks you about it, then you tell the truth. So you enjoy it while nobody's asking you, but then when they ask you, you tell the truth. So you feel good and you're not, really harming anyone that way. I'm talking about, these sort of things like watches, jewelry, and things like that, not anything else. And Jasmine says, I feel betrayed. He lied about himself from the beginning, saying he had all the same hobbies and he acted the perfect man I wanted all my life. That's why I said yes when he asked to marry him. I don't even know who he was anymore. Was our love even real? Wish he lied to the whole world, but tell me the truth at least and showed me his true self from the beginning. Need your advice, sir. Well, you let him go because obviously he's trying to do whatever he can to get what he wants, regardless of what is good for you and your feelings. All he wants to do is to get what it is after. His focus on pleasure and to get you, and then once he's marrying you, I don't know what country you're from, Spain, oh, then I wonder what crazy person would try to introduce himself as someone else because he wants to impress you. Yeah, okay, he wants to impress you and you fall in love, but you're falling in love with the behavior of the man who actually doesn't have that behavior. So you're in love with the behavior, compatibility that doesn't exist. So you're not really in love with him because he doesn't have the characters that have encouraged you to be in love with it. You're in love with some book, some recipe that you have decided that this person is made out of these traits, but he's not. Like you base your interest compatibility with someone that says, okay, yeah, I like horseback riding and I'm a real good horseback rider. And, I love training horses. I love to be around dogs. And then later on, and you also are the same. And you say, oh, wow, we've got so much things in common. And then you find many other things. And then at the same time, all of them are lies. So what compatibility do you have? Your love and interest is based on compatibility in this case. But there is no compatibility. But they have created an illusion of compatibility, which caused you to be interested in the guy. And now through repetitions, you have created a certain feeling and a familiarity toward the guy. And that familiarity has become a certain order, certain things you've been doing as mechanical process. And that mechanical process, the things that you guys were doing based on the false belief that you guys have compatibility things, you have created certain routine, certain order in your life. And you've now gotten used to that order. And your mind finds security in that behavior, in that routine that you've created based on lies, based on not true compatibilities. And then what's going to happen when you guys get married and none of these compatibilities could continue, the kind of things that you were doing based on these compatibilities of interest, which would create a certain routine and order in your life. That routine will be broken even you guys are married. So you will have a separation in compatibility and bonding on consciousness even though you are married. Because this compatibility was created before your marriage based on false compatibility. And bonding on the consciousness was not bonding, was the fake illusion. So you will have a hell of a time trying to be compatible in that marriage. So might as well say adios amigos and go and find somebody who's actually going to be truthful, because life is not a joke. Well, he's trying to what? Get you to bed and marry him, and then what? And nothing interest to talk about, to be active, and wants to create a whole new self. In other words, he's hoping you change to him eventually, rather than both have your own specialties and see if you are compatible or not. So he's manipulating you. Then someone who wants to manipulate your whole character, that's not going to be a happy ending, happy journey. Jasmine says, P.S. I also think I have compulsions to whenever he lied to me or said something, I had weird gut feelings and kept lifting the rocks and checked under every rock to double check and guard my heart. Then it's creating lots of anxiety, distrust, no good. Let it go, I think. Unless he's not lying anymore, and that's going to take a while. So if anything, postpone the wedding for another year or two to see if anything is real there. And if not, just let it go. Or maybe let it go already. I don't know how long you guys been together and how long this been going on, so I can't be more helpful. You remember, you guys are always welcome to go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com, and make an appointment on Skype for us to explore what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. And of course, you all know, as a new client, when you register an appointment for 1 hour, I will throw in another hour to begin with, so we'll have 2 hours to discuss what's concerning you. Twiggy says, where are dangerous TikTok and social media challenges? Says there are dangerous TikTok and social media challenges where they encourage impulsive actions like shaving eyebrows or hair and other stuff. That's nonsense. Twiggy, hello. Yeah, everything seems to be have no value of how it was designed. Everybody do anything. Everybody, I don't know, wear anything. have no certain compliance with certain expectations of human behavior. Everything is just like mishmash. But this is how it was to begin with. That's why we ended up deviating from that chaos and to try to bring certain order and disciplines and um, organization to things. That's why the human being is now sort of civilized. But now we're deviating from this to become that which we are coming from. It doesn't make sense, does it? Everybody do anything, encouraging, whether you are born homosexual or not, and they're now encouraging everybody to try same gender. Why? If you're born as a certain gender, well, you embrace it, you enjoy it, you live your life perfectly in harmony with other human beings on earth, however your gender has been. But trying to encourage things that is not your nature, why is that for? Why are you trying to confuse people with their gender? By encouraging or making certain kind of a behavior as, promoting it. Why? Every one of us are equal, every one of us are free, and we are living our lives based on what we prefer and what our gender is. That is personal, that is private. It's not supposed to be advertised to encourage others to do what? Why? What's the purpose? Now, all these uninteresting to many people, all these extra information that is personal lifestyle of people, and it's personal and private, is now on the venue of everybody to know and notice and ponder on, which enters in the consciousness, and the brain makes thoughts out of it, which creates all these intrusive thoughts, more than what the brain is interested to handle in the day, and a repetitious of it brings the culture of intrusive thoughts to become more and more, and brings confusion to people when they don't have to deal with this. They can just deal with who they are and enjoy who they are, whatever your gender is. But no need to advertise constantly. It's like recruiting from this gender to that gender, from that gender to that gender. Why? Why? What's the purpose? Why can't we be who we are? I mean, we are not supposed to be focusing on you're this, I'm that, you're this, did you do this, you did. Whatever gender you are, you're respectful, you're equal, you enjoy your life, and the media and the politicians and everything else should stay out of our lives, and we all can get along and live our lives based on what we are programmed, how we are created. No confusion necessary. Stephen says, Mehran, what do you think about the power of our brain? I believe anything is possible, and it's the greatest tool we have. Yes, brain is very powerful. That is why you need to learn how to behave with it and how to train it, because if you train the brain and understand its function and powers and malfunctions and limitations, it can help you to succeed anything you put your mind to it. If you don't understand its abilities and functions and malfunctions and limitations, and how to communicate with it and how to train it, how it works, then it can also take you, because it's very powerful, take you to gutters and bury you 6 feet under. Brain is very powerful. It's like a horse, a very strong, capable, wild horse. You train it, it'll take you to the destinations and the places you want to conquer and you want to accomplish. You don't train it, it takes you where it wants to go, where you never even thought of being and wanted to be, takes you to all kind of disasters. Because then you're not in control as a rider. It has its own brain, and its brain is not trained. It's not trained to do you justice. It does what it wants to do for itself. So it goes with its own limited interest or understanding goes wherever it goes. The horse could take you God knows where. But if you know how to train it or communicate with it, then you will use it to take you where you want to go. Brain is an apparatus. It's a horse you're riding on. You better learn how to ride it. Otherwise, it rides you. And then you're in trouble because it's got tremendous powers. Jasmine says, thank you so much for your advice. You're quite welcome. Slobodan Miličić says, suffering with a lot, growing out response. Slobodan, let me know your age, gender, and where you tuning in from, and I'll get back to your question for sure. And the Lugani says, Mayor, I'm 23, male, London. How do I learn 3 languages at once? Greek, Japanese, and Pashto. How? You spend equal time and effort on every one of them. Pretty much. And try to keep them in the same level. So you will know if you're in the level of hello, how are you? Then you will know hello, how are you? And the basics of, conversation of the day in all 3 languages. So equally move forward in the same level with all 3 of them. I don't know if you've started them all together or you know one of them more than the other one. So that could be a little bit, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. If you spend enough time and practice them, you can learn 5 languages at the same time. It's not a problem. But you got to give it enough time. Conversation, you got to be able to follow the instructions, to know the mechanics of it, the grammar and the rules of it. And at the same time, you got to have enough opportunity to speak and use what you learn with some friend or some program on internet, and watch enough maybe instructional videos to converse and get used to hearing those sounds and recognizing them, also to speak them, to utter them, and then you keep doing that, you'll become good in all of them. Aman, you say all that, but you're still focusing on what the brain suggests. Just don't try to listen to what it suggests. Just focus on what you like. Focus on what you are, what you want to be, what you prefer, your choice. And simply don't have to push anything that has to be fixed now. Has to be fixed now. Why is it not fixed now? If it's not fixed now, maybe it's wrong. Maybe the brain is right. Your anxiety, you're creating anxiety by wanting the results right away. You need to understand that neuroplasticity takes place by repetition. So stay on course. Just focus on your preference. It doesn't matter how it feels, and don't keep checking it. Oh, I have this preference, but I feel different, so maybe that's not. Don't do that. Just say, I sense that feeling, I see that thought, but I'm not interested in it because I have a choice and I'm focused on that. So stay focused on that, do your life. Don't say, well, why is it then it's not going away? I realize that it's thought, then why is it not going? Well, that's the whole thing. Its system to shut down these intrusive thoughts is malfunctioning. So you have to rewire them, and rewiring takes time by constantly staying on that, sticking with your choices and preferences, and focusing on your life, not on what it says, what I don't like, or it's conflict, or I don't like this, or it suggests something, or why is it suggesting? I know it's wrong, but why do I feel it? None of that. Just focus on your life and know your choices, and don't let any other bullshit that comes to your head to turn into action. Huh? Do not act on them. Just live your life. And with your behavior, don't think about them. Ignore them. Understand they're intrusive, call them for what they are, and move on forward. You know how it goes. I've already explained it. And if you need more, you can reach out to the links that I've put there for the specialists, the psychotherapists, like Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Philipson, and they have teams that you can reach out, and then they will help you to understand how it is, and then you go from there. Jasmine says, you're right. My ex-fiance and I weren't compatible and would have divorced anyways. I think he liked my career, family, background, and my money than me. Okay, he kept lying to me until I dumped him. So my heart hurts a lot. No, it shouldn't. You actually saved your heart. Can you understand what I just said? Your alertness and awareness rose up against the desire for the kind of image you wanted you to have in your mind. I'm getting married and all that image, which is your desire. And desire has its own prerequisites to be formed, which is for another time. Or if you ever make an appointment with me, I will describe it to you. You rose above the desire for illusory accomplishment of an image you have of yourself, or you wanted to have of yourself in your mind, based on the expectations of the society and your plans and what you've been conditioned to think that life is all about. But you rose above it, your wisdom, your awareness rose above that desire and made the right choice, which in fact saved your heart, saved your life, saved your happiness, instead of turning a momentary pain, which is pain of this decision that you made, justifying a long life of pain and suffering and discussions and anger and fights and arguments and bitterness and negativity and bullshit. So if you look at it, you actually saved yourself by proper decision. Saved your heart. It's not broken heart. Broken heart for what? You got used to something that wasn't good. We all get used to things. But when we realize what we got used to wasn't good, breaking it is not breaking your heart. It may be hard, but it's saving you. It's like saying somebody's on cocaine and got used to the drug, and now breaking it off is going to be hard. But it's not going to say, oh, but I'm suffering. This suffering is the beginning of your salvation, your freedom. Because you're going to be away from cocaine. You're going to get your health and freedom back. Same thing. This pain is the price you pay for your freedom and health. Worth it. Everything has a price. If that's the price, pay it. Jasmine says, why can't men just love me for who I am? Well, if you mean men, this guy, well, this guy doesn't represent all men. This guy represents himself, his own intentions. It doesn't represent all other men. They do. But if you are patient enough and put yourself in a position to find and select a man who actually would be adhering or meeting the standards that you expect. But this one didn't. If this one didn't, it's like someone says, why all women are like this? Not all women are this way or that way. There's so many amazing women in this world. Hard to find, but they are there. But so my motto is that it's not important how difficult it is. It's important that it's possible. So you focus on the possibilities, not the difficulty of achieving it. So there you go. Now, this guy wasn't measuring up, but there are other guys that could measure up, I'm sure. And Jasmine says, isn't marriage based on true love like that? Or am I too naive? Yeah, true love really, it depends on if you understand what love is. It begins with lust and interest, and then the love actually is created by time bonding on consciousness level, which takes time to understand the level of unselfishness, trust, um, compatibility, and how you treat each other, how you're there for when the challenges of life appears and shows up, and how you take care of each other, how you're there for each other. And these are all going to be that bonding that we're talking about, which takes time. So you cannot really love anyone when you see them or hang around for like a few weeks. You got to understand what love means. Is it lust or is it love? Do you love him or do you love her? Or do you love what she does for you? Or she fulfills the image you have of being in a relationship, a certain image you have created for yourself in your own mind. That's not love. We use the word love so loosely in everything. I love this tea. I love riding a bike. I love the air. It means nothing anymore. Love comes in bonding on consciousness of during time. You can't say, "Oh, I'm married because I love." Well, you lived with that girl or that guy for a couple of years, then you have an idea. But you can't just say, "Oh, this feeling is love." Love is a lot more than just what that person does for you, how you feel, being around. It's all about a journey. How do you guys interact and treat each other, negotiate life in that journey that you're taking? And that takes time. Jasmine says, I saw your video on what to look for in future partner. Can you elaborate on that? What should I look for? Everyone is so nice and courteous in the beginning. I don't want to get hurt again. Well, being hurt is a price you pay for making the wrong choice, and that's okay. That's why you get hurt, because you want to save the bigger part of you, the bigger thing in the picture. And what I said, what you need to choose, well, I don't really remember right now. So maybe if you have a specific question, I can answer it. Otherwise, it will become a private session here. Jasmine. And Jasmine says, and please teach us how to not to be disappointed or self-blame after being deceived or betrayed. I just did through my conversation with you. I hadn't read the question, but I did. It was because you have to take care of yourselves and make the right decision. And sometimes that means to having done what you've done, which there's no disappointment because you got to look at the bigger picture. Bigger picture is your life, your happiness. You can't just simply sell it for some momentary pleasure of, oh, I'm now part of the group of married people. Okay, there we go. Oh, I'm in the church now, I have this wedding or the mosque or whatever it is. And then here it is, I'm married. So now what? What's the race to get that echelon? It's a conditioning you receive from the society. Got to be married. Okay. But where's the qualified person? All right. Anyhow, again, guys, welcome to make an appointment with me on Skype. Go on my site, mind@seekstruth.com, and if you need to, make an appointment, and we'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. And Stephen says, Mayor, before I go, just want to take a bit of advice. I still want to try and see this girl outside of work. Last time I asked her out was 2 weeks ago, but she couldn't because of sister's birthday. Should I ask her out this Tuesday or bad idea from what we talked about? Maybe she's waiting for me to ask is why I'm asking. Look, you can think about and justify every time that that girl is not meeting your expectation. I mean, if you're in a relationship of boyfriend, girlfriend, which seems like she doesn't know if she's coming or going, she's had sex with you 10 times, you say, but she's still waiting for some kind of a carriage with golden horses to come and what, ask her for a date. For fuck's sake, I mean, you guys are working together, and she doesn't have the enough interest to call and say, hey, Steve, what you doing? You want to do something? And you always have to package something, have an excuse. What about her finding time for you? Stop pursuing her. These people, even if you think of you, the world, once you pursue them too much, anybody, if they're not confident enough, will turn around to think, oh, well, no, I just hang around. Let them feel the urge. Let them feel the desire. Let them feel that they want to be with you. Why should you always go? As long as you keep going, she won't be coming. So hang on. I don't care how long it takes. Another 3 weeks. Don't ask her. You've asked enough. She knows it. And if she has any interest that could put above the other duties that she has, whether it's, I don't know, sister or school or whatever the hell it is, well, the interest should be more than what she wants to do at all the time. She should find the time to come and give it to you a little bit of her time to have coffee, tea, conversation, or whatever. How come you can do it, but she can't? So stop this sucking up business. Wait for her. If she wants it bad enough, she will give you a hint. She doesn't, well then fuck it. It's not the end of the world. You find somebody else. Maybe she's really busy. Maybe she's really trying to get that schooling exam done. You got to be understanding. What's the use if you know she's busy and she's got exam coming up and you keep asking her and she keep supposed to want to, but she can't. Her best thinking judgment says she got to study and she says no to you. Then you say, oh, she said no. That means she's not. God damn it, she's busy. She's supposed to be studying. And she's got enough brain to think that I got to get this exam taken care of than going out with Steve because I can do that later. But in the meantime, Steve keeps coming, nibbling on my shoes, and she starts losing interest because Steve is too much in the face. Have respect for yourself and go watch a movie and do whatever you got to do to keep yourself occupied. And let her feel that she can do her things. Don't hunt her. And let her feel that she feels the loneliness, or she feels that she wants to be with you. She feels the need to call you. Then you got something going. Otherwise, she will always be like that, and eventually she will leave you. Why? Because she doesn't have enough confidence to know that she's being paid attention to because you like her and she likes you. But the fact that you're too available, she says, oh, maybe it's not good enough. You know about that. We've talked about it. So I don't care how much you want to go out with her. Stop this nonsense. Let her call the shots at this time that she has said she's busy. Don't even need to text her, say, I know you're busy, that's why I'm not asking you out. Don't fucking ask her out. Don't text her. Just like you died. Let her feel the vacuum. Let her pay attention to her duties, and then in the meantime, she eventually says, oh, by the way, I feel like something is missing. Oh, that's a Steve. Oh, I want to call him because I've been too busy with my studies. If that's genuine, which I think it is. So, no, silence. Silence, radio silence, nothing, zilch, zero. You gave the beer and that's good enough. Even that shouldn't have been. If she contacts you, you be cordial, pleasant, and warm. And wish her that she will do good. But don't text her, I wish you do good on your text. Don't fucking contact her. It's getting a little bit too annoying because I can see you're just not going to do what it takes. Look, if you don't contact her and she doesn't contact you, it wasn't even going to work anyhow. It's not like she didn't contact me and she left me because I didn't contact her. No, if you're supposed to be constantly contacting to keep someone with you. That's not a relationship. It has to be honest. She wants to call you, call you. You want to call her, call her. But right now it's not the time. She's playing this game or she's really genuinely busy. Either way, stay out of it. If she's genuinely busy, then she'll call when she's not. If she's playing the game, then don't play it. If she's not going to show up, then she wasn't worth it. Because you've done enough to show your interest. That's why I say it's enough. Marlene says, Meran, I love your authenticity. Merci. Merci, chérie. Comment ça va aujourd'hui? I hope you're doing well, and thank you for the kind words. All right, that was Stephen. Jasmine says, wow, you're brilliant. Never thought it that way. Saved my heart. Thank you, Mary. You're quite welcome. Jasmine says, I should watch this live video again, and it's over, and keep reminding myself of your great wisdom. Thank you, Jasmine. Just instead of reminding yourself of my great wisdom, bloody hell, talk about it on chat rooms and share the videos you like on social media. Talk to your friends to join this live stream or join the channel and use the channel. There's so much stuff on this channel. There's over 2,000 separate videos on this channel on topics such as thoughts, what is thinking, what is thought, where does it come from, consciousness, the relationship between thoughts and consciousness, talking about fear, what is time, what is meditation, what is desire, what is the steps of desire that it takes for it to appear, what about memory, why do we go into the memory, what about order, what about mechanical process, material process, all these, and then breakups, why is it so devastating, why you miss the person, what is your thought process, what, all these are there. Then we have OCD and the malfunction of the brain, HOCD, subset of OCD. We are talking about things that really matters in life for you. There are no bullshits on this channel, but I need you guys to promote this goddamn thing. It's unheard of. We only have about 21,000, 22,000 subscribers. It's supposed to be 2 million. These are the things that people are unaware of their brain, their capabilities, their abilities, their power, their malfunction. We've got things here that I don't see it anywhere else talked about. What we talk about. Why are we not known? Because my fellow members don't give a damn about promoting this channel. Now I said, all right. Let me have my tea. I'm very upset, very upset. Nothing better than green tea and mango pieces in the green tea. Amazing. Yummy. So, Stephen says, I believe men fall in love faster and women fall in love over time, because men don't fall in love, they fall in lust. And women fall in love. That's why it takes them longer. So, I mean, today is really lots of women are also just for lust. And then there are lots of men who actually are interested in love. It depends. It's not general, but that's how it is. Aman says, should I take a break from talking with girls? No, you never take a break talking with girls. Girls are fantastic. Because now when I am talking to them and I am not feeling interested, should I give a break? Why should you be talking to a girl as if you want to get into their pants? Talk with them because they are great part of this whole journey of life. They're a human being. They're sensuous being, intelligence, awareness, things that you can learn from, things that you can share with, things that can bring color to your life. Why do you have to think that unless I want to fuck him, I shouldn't be talking with them? What the hell is that? Have some respect for women and have some respect for yourself, for humanity, for connections. Talk with them. Whether you're interested in them sexually or not at the time for the shit that you're going through, it doesn't matter. You talk with them because you feel like you want to talk with them, because you think there's a subject to talk about, because they are friends, because they can be friends. Otherwise, what are you going to wait for? You got to continue your life as it normally is, and then wait for the malfunction of the brain to glitch back, click back into place and do what it's supposed to be doing in your case. All right. Steven says, I needed that advice. Thank you. You don't need that advice. You need this. This is ugly stick. I'm going to hit it on your head. Go get your motorcycle helmet on, because that's going to come down on you. I mean, you're really calling for it. It's not just you. It's not just Zitkill in Sweden that it deserves the ugly stick. You're now candidate number one, more than him. He's at least learning. God damn it. All right. Now. And Carl is here. Kia ora mera, and he says 28 New Zealand. Kia ora to you as well, Carl. Good of you to join us. And Marlene says, I sent you an email this morning. I will call you again soon. Bonsoir. Okay, Sherry, thank you very much. Yeah, I got the email, and I look forward to our next conversation, and we'll get you out of the glitch that you might be feeling, but everything will be all right. And bonsoir. It must be what? It's only 6:38 there. It says this message is held for review. What is that? And the message says, what's wrong with talking to a girl if you just want to have sex? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. But I'm saying if you don't feel like having sex, that's no way of saying because I don't want to have sex with them, I shouldn't be talking with them. That's the idea. You got it? Unstoppable force. But if you want to have sex and that's your motivation to talk with girls, well, you can do that. They will make their decision. They will say if that's suitable to them or not. And that's a different conversation that becomes apparent while you guys are talking. Ebony Lee says, good morning. Love your content and thank you very much. And please let me know about yourself, your gender, where you're tuning in from, your age. These are all important. Everyone remember, we have a protocol. I need to know your gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. And I think we have been here long enough, maybe another 15 minutes, and we'll call it a day, because it's been 2 hours and 44 minutes. And Carl says, unstoppable force. Mehran is saying you should talk to all women, whether you want sex or not. Show respect to everyone. Yeah, well, Carl, he is new and he probably just joined us. He doesn't know what we are really meaning here. And thank you for that. Kia ora. Ebony says, Miss 23 from Brisbane, Australia. Oh, down under. Finally, we are getting more from Australia. Well, there's only one, but we used to have actually more from Australia. And usually at this time, it is pretty early in the morning. That's why I didn't expect anyone from Australia. And even Carl, what are you doing up so late? What is it, so early? It's 3 o'clock almost. That's 3 in the morning plus 5 hours. That's 8 o'clock. That's early. I guess you guys are up now. But usually my 9 o'clock tonight, we'll have another live stream at 9 p.m. tonight, hopefully if I'm alive. I intend to be, by the way. So 9 o'clock, we'll have another live stream. That is for India, Pakistan, New Zealand, Australia, Iran, Philippines, Singapore, the time zones of that neck of the wood. So Ebony Lee says, okay, where was your question, Ebony Lee? Did I get it somewhere here? I don't have you anywhere. Is that, where's your question, Ebony Lee? Carl says it's 12:41 p.m. Sunday in New Zealand. Oh, is it? How? 17 hours. It's 3 o'clock, 3 in the morning. Really? 17 hours. 5 hours should be 8 o'clock in the morning there. 12:41 p.m. Sunday. Gee, oh, because we are 1 hour behind. Okay. And you're 17 hours ahead. So 3, 12, and then 5, that's 8, that should be 9. So it's longer than that then. 12, and then 7, 19 hours. You're 19 hours ahead of us. Oh, okay then. That works. That works. So, oh, Ebony says, good morning, love your car. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Ebony. I appreciate that. 23 from Australia. Okay, well, it looks like we have answered all the questions and there's no more questions here. So it's time for me to say, if there are no questions, well, I give it a couple of minutes. And if there is no one, then I'll call it a day. So I guess we don't have any Zoom for tomorrow because we haven't received any registration. Anyone who wants to participate in a Zoom meeting, only limited to 10 people. That could be every Sunday, but we have to receive 10 people registration before we can make it happen. You can either do a $25 fee for members who are member of the channel. That'll be half price. That'll be $25. You can send it through Super Chat when I have a live stream on Saturdays for the Sunday Zoom meeting, or you can send it through my email and at PayPal. And the email is md007m@gmail.com. And I don't have the button on my site for the Zoom meeting yet. It is going to be put together in a few months. My programmer in UK is very busy and he's going to make those changes on the site, and it might have a different look anyhow. There's some improvements needs to be made on it. And once I see the fee was sent through the email on PayPal, then I can send you the link knowing who that is and what email you have attached to it. Or you can do it through the Super Chat. And then we will have enough. If we have enough 10 people, if we don't have enough, then we'll keep those for the next week until we have 10 people. We gotta have 10 people to have the Zoom meeting. So that would be only for those 10 people. And it looks like we don't have any tomorrow because we haven't had any registration, at least that I know of. So we'll maybe have that ongoing until next time. And Aman says, I have something more to ask. Okay, go ahead. Ebony says, what do you do when you are a people pleaser, but you're running out of energy? Stop pleasing. It's like saying, what do you do when you give free apples in your store when you run out of apple? Well, you don't stop giving apples. But in this case, you stop giving apples earlier than they run out. Like you stop giving free apples completely. Maybe you do it sometimes. You just open your store, you want to do some advertisement or some promotion, you announce free apples here, but you do that a while, then no more. It's not the function of that store to give free apple. The function of that store is to be in business. It has its plans, it has economic needs, it has economics path, and you're supposed to follow that. Otherwise you go bankrupt, right? So same thing. You do things for people, constantly please them. That's to the cost of what? To the cost of your inner satisfaction, the cost of your principles, to the cost of your manners that it's not really necessarily interested to constantly please these people, and you create that conditioning in them that they expect you, and then you create kind of a neuroplasticity in your behavior that you become a suck up. You have no backbone. Oh yes, okay. I'll do that for you. Sure, sure. No, it's okay. I'll do it. Well, before you know it, you got all these things that you're doing for people for free. Your business gonna go out of business. You're gonna go out of energy, and you're gonna not enjoy. You get up every morning and say, "Fuck, I gotta do this," and I wanted to just sit down and have tea. You gotta create that for yourself. All right. Aman says there's a girl. This is the last question. Aman says there's a girl who wants to talk romantically, sort of, but I'm not in that state because of this HOCD. You can't wait until HOCD bullshit goes away. What do you do if you love a girl, if you like a girl, and you don't have HOCD? You are in some kind of a romantic place or somewhere in the jungle. You guys are walking, you've known each other for a long time, you love each other or whatever it is, and then you seem to want to have, sex right there in the middle of the jungle. And then everything around you is all kind of debris and garbage and shit, but you guys are so excited and so beyond yourselves, you can't say, what do you do? So, oh, no, sorry, we can't have sex. No, you usually won't, would you? You just move away from the garbage and don't care about that and focus on what it is that you want to do, that you love each other and you want to have sex. Don't you? Same thing right here. HOCD is like the shit, the garbage is all around you. You're supposed to ignore the shit and focus on what it is that you want to do, which is make love to your girlfriend. So HOCD is there, is interfering with your intentions to talk with this girl romantically or enjoy it, but you know that you like girls. And this HOCD is preventing you or bothering you, interfering. So it's like the shit that you just roll away from it and just find your space and you don't care. You roll over them, even the garbage and debris and the leaves and everything. You just don't care because you're focused on what you want to be focused on. Same thing. She wants to talk romantically, you talk romantically. If you don't want to, you focus on doing because that's what your nature is. You got interference going. You got to try harder. It's like you're trying to have a communication on the phone with long distance with your girlfriend and static is there. So what do you do? Oh, there's a static. I can't talk. Bye-bye. No, you talk louder. Yes, I love you. Can you hear me? I said I love. You repeat, you do, you focus on what it is that is most important. You don't run away because static. HOCD is a fucking static. You focus on what you got to be doing. So you're not 100% focused on it. That's okay. Stay on course. Talk to her. Be nice to her. Be how you always been. Focus on what you want to be. You, with your behavior, you're creating neuroplasticity. You're creating the conditioning that you've always been. And you set aside and push away the statics. And that's how you deal with these things. Otherwise, every interference that comes in, you're supposed to back down and go away. What's going to happen to you next day? Somebody says something else. You're going to comply to that. That's a suggestion. Now I should let go what I prefer and then do what these people, whether it is business, sports, or interactions or friendship, whatever it is. You stay focused. Look, many times when HOCD is shown up, people may not be focused in bed with their girlfriends. All right? But who is 100% focused? There's so many things going on in the head. No matter what you're doing, whether you're studying, you have interference in thoughts, whether you're doing shopping, you could be thinking about something else and you're doing your shopping, whether you are talking with your parents or to your friends and you could be other things running into your head, and or maybe sometimes you're having sex and something else could be interfering. HOCD could be one. What do you think women are having sex? They're fully focused on that all the time. No, women many times often could be thinking about the shopping, the food they're going to make for the family the next day, or the laundry they have to do, and they're still making love with their boyfriend or their husband or however it is. So that is also okay. Nobody is 100% focused all the time. Sometimes things go wrong. Right now, you keep doing what you got to do even if you're not 100% focused. Doesn't matter. Get going. Talk romantically. Talk romantically. Focus as best you can. You can't be waiting around, because you're waiting around, you're training yourself to wait around and stay away from what your nature is. And the neuroplasticity takes place opposite of what you want to do, which is makes you really good at not talking to girls. No, practice, go. Even though you're not 100% there, it doesn't matter. And Luna says, super chat payment with you, shukran. Yeah, that's easy. That's easy. Everybody can do that. But we got to have 10 people. Ebony says, you're absolutely right. Thank you. I need to work on that. I lost my dad to his depression a few years ago. And I think it has turned me very soft. I'll focus more on myself more and saying no. Yeah, you don't have to be rude about it. Say, oh, I'd love to do that, but I don't have time. In other words, I love you too, but get going. Unstoppable Force haven't still given us anything about himself. So I'm sorry, dear. I will move on to the next question. Aman says, do old neuroplasticity breaks, which we accidentally made a while ago? Yeah, of course, because neuroplasticity is just like that, malleable. Like, it's like the video I have, how to delete your memory. Just as you become really good at something that you keep doing it, you create new neuron bridges between neurons, and through the repetition, you create rewiring of your brain, neuroplasticity. Same thing. We also have the ability of unlearning. When you don't do something anymore, like if you were playing piano all the time or playing tennis, or you were doing something often and you were so good at it, and neuroplasticity had taken place. But when you don't do that for a while, what happens is that the brain, there are cells called glial cells that they notice that the neurons that were put together to make you good at doing something like playing piano, you're no longer playing piano. So they notice that those neurons, those bridges, are not working. They're dormant. So what they do, they go and mark those bridges between those two neurons that made you be good at playing piano because you kept playing piano. They go and mark those bridges that connects those two neurons with a protein called CQ1. And they're now marked. So when you sleep, brain shrinks about 60%. And it's got enough space for the cleaners to go around and check. Where are these marked neurons that are taking space, and I need the space to use them to learn something else, but they're not being used. But they have been connected for playing piano, but we are not using them for being good at playing piano. We are not playing that anymore. So now we go and check. So they check and find all the neurons that are being marked by CQ1 protein. The microglial cells go find them and destroy them. And then that's why when you wake up in the morning, you actually feel refreshed. And things are really nicer connected, because lots of the stuff, the debris in the garden, in the real estate of the brain, is now cleared up, pushed away. With the gardener came along and took all those weeds and stuff that was interfering with the nutrients in the water to get to the real plants and flowers, took them out and cleaned out. And it's now very nicely landscaped. That's what happens every night that you sleep. That's why it's so important to have good night's sleep. Because when you sleep, all the garbage that is being marked and is irrelevant, they're usually going to be taken out. That's why you get up refreshed. Yeah? You feel better the next day. So it's important for you to understand what you don't do often. It also, you have the capability of unlearning what you've learned. So the things that are not, you don't like, and you don't do them anymore, then they will be destroyed because you're not doing anymore. So no worries there. And Unstoppable Forces, I'm 24, May, London. Thank you for that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to talk with girls that you just want to have sex with them, as long as they know that's your intention, that they're not being fooled by being tricked, and simply they have the liberty of choosing by knowing the facts, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's perfectly fine as long as it's fine with both of you, not just one of you is tricking the other one. So, having said that, it's time for me to say that I've answered all the questions that I know of, and I love you all. Thank you very much for giving me the chance to share a thing or two with you, and please don't forget to introduce this channel to your friends and share the videos you like in your social media, talk about it in chat rooms, and promote the channel if you like this channel to be more successful. So, I look forward to talk to you again, hopefully tonight at 9 p.m. Vancouver time, or next week, Saturday at 1 p.m. Vancouver time. Every Saturday, as much as possible, we'll have 2 live streams, 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. Saturday, Vancouver time. So I look forward to talk to you again. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.